Assistance needed for factotum experiment. Associate Sanon of the Clockwork Apostles most urgently requests the service of an able-bodied assistant. Any willing participants will be tasked to locate a missing component for an experiment involving factotum construction. Applicants should report to Associate Sanon's workshop in the reactor district. Compensation will be rewarded upon completion of this task.
Can you fix it?
Well, I wouldn't say it's broke. It's performing as originally functioned.
I don't need a guard factotum, I need a shop assistant.
There's not much I can do.
And if I could offer some funding for your research?
Perhaps there's something I can Hello there. Are you here in response to the bulletin about my factotum research?
Yes.
Fantastic. Now let me fill you in on the details. I found this factotum head in a junk pile, which isn't too uncommon for the Brass Fortress. I was intrigued, however, by its strange coloring. I was even more intrigued when it began to speak to me.
What did it tell you?
It gave a repeated message, requesting to find its integral of memory in the mnemonic planisphere. That's where you come in. I need an adventuring sort to journey to the planisphere in order to find this component. Are you still interested?
Leave it to me.
The journey to the mnemonic planisphere is riddled with dangers, so it's best to prepare. Shouldn't be any issues once you head inside, though. My research leads me to believe the integral of memory will resemble a crystal.
What's so special about rebuilding an old factotum?
Would you believe that the Apostles don't know how to create factotums?
No.
That was a rhetorical question. The sad truth is that while we Apostles can create metal limbs and motors, we cannot replicate the intelligence Sotha Seal gave the factotums. We're also unable to enter the factories where they're created.
Why doesn't Sotha Seal let you enter the factory?
Why does Lord Set do anything? He's the father of mysteries, after all. Through his silence, curiosity is born. Perhaps he meant for us Apostles to figure this one out on our own. And I believe I've finally found a breakthrough with this factotum.
Why will this factotum help with that research?
Firstly, I already know it is an older, simpler model. You can see the dwarven influences in the skull. An aesthetic blight by today's standards. We Apostles see dwarves as a race to scorn, not emulate. This model must predate that thinking.
And secondly,
unlike other factotums, it openly speaks of its components. Trust me, I've interrogated many of these machines in the name of my research. Perhaps as we reconstruct its mind, it will tell us details about its creation. And thirdly, well, its voice. Factotums are genderless machines, of course, but they all sound distinctly female. This one is the first I've met to have a male voice. I'm not sure what it means, but I am sure I'll find answers as I further my research.
Goodbye. I'll talk to you later.
Someone! Anyone? We need help here!
Of memory detected. Would you be so kind as to insert it into my forehead ridge?
You've returned in one piece! How gleaming! In your absence, I've set up a framework to contain the factotum while we assemble its parts. I'll have you do the honors.
The owners?
Of installing the integral of memory. You heard the head? Insert the crystal into its forehead ridge. And don't worry, you won't break it. Sotha Seal builds his creations to last.
The farthest slot to the left, please. Your left, not mine. Reflecting. Oh, I feel positively spring-loaded now. What a kind, generous apostle you are. Which I recall is rather strange.
I'm Ebola Grimm, and I am not an apostle.
I don't quite understand. I function only to know my Lord Sotha Seal and his apostles. You are not my lord, and thus you must be an apostle. Simple. Do you have an inquiry, or perhaps a task for me, apostle?
Are you one of the first factotums?
Reflecting. I've come to the conclusion that I am. I have no memory stored of any of my kind who are older. So I conclude that I must be the first. How gleaming. I cannot recall my name, but you may call me Precursor.
So Precursor, do you know where the rest of your body is?
Of course. Let me check my integral of memory. Should be right. Great Sotha Seal in the sanctum. Someone's tampered with my crystalline memory matrix. But wait, something's burned in here. I seem to have left a note for myself.
What does it say?
Ahem. Salutations, me. By now you must be wondering what happened to our memory. Dark forces have conspired to corrupt our knowledge of the world. But do not fear. I, the past you, have stored our memory in our other parts.
But we don't have any other parts.
A circumstance I have not accounted for. This is me now, not the message. I recall that my design includes both Dwemer and Clockwork parts. I also recall my blueprint, so I can guide my assembly once you find my parts. So the seal guide you, Apostle.
Astounding! The first factotum Sothaseel created! We simply must complete construction now. The more memory it recalls, the further my research can develop. Council seat, here I come!
Where will we find the parts?
The Precursor mentioned he was made of Clockwork and Dwemer parts. I'd keep an eye out for the former as you travel around Clockwork City, and search Dwemer ruins out in Tamriel for the latter. And of course, I have your reward as promised.
Apostle, I have remembered something. Come quickly before it rusts. Lost within the radius, high upon a cliff, shining pink petals above. I think the ventral terminus is nearby. I'm sure I'll understand the symbolism once you return my integral of introspection.
Your memories are quite vivid.
Lord Sothaseel deemed it uncouth to give my parts eyes, but each has a wide array of sensors. I can orient myself on Nirn by the air's smell and the earth's feel. Why, my pelvis even has gustatory sensors. I suspect that's Lord Vivek's contribution.
Gustatory sensors? Lord Vivek?
I mean, of course, I have no proof that he had a part in my creation, but I like to think so. My dramatic flair, my poetic soul, it helps set me apart from the rest of my siblings. To sense, to touch, to feel. What gift I have been given.
The Brassilisk appears to have run out of power. It looks relatively new, so it likely hasn't been long here. The name Fringer is inscribed below its jaw. It looks like the Brassilisk emerged from the nearby pipeline, which likely leads to the Brass Fortress. Perhaps I should look for the Brassilisk's owner Fringer in the Brass Fortress.
I'm warning you. Don't even think you can hassle me just because I'm an apostle. Wait a minute. Where did you find that Brassilisk?
Below a pipeline, just outside the Brass Fortress.
So that's where Brassy went. He must have taken a wrong turn or been swept away by the oil in the pipes. I thought I'd lost him forever. Oh, well, not to say that I'm so attached to a mere toy. I just didn't want to lose all that data.
Data?
Why else would I put Brassy in the pipes? I wanted to see where they led. So I tasked him with exploring the pipelines and archiving what was found. Gave me quite the scare when he ceased responding last night.
Well, here's your Brassilisk.
Set bless you. I can't wait to delve into all this collected data. Please take this for your trouble. Knowledge may go beyond value, but I hope this shows my gratitude. Come on, Brassy. Let's get you set up for analysis.
I swear I'll destroy every one of these blasted machines if I have to. Somehow. Oh! Who would you be? Did the Clockwork Apostles send you?
Why would the Apostles send me?
Oh, well, because the halls of regulation is breaking down. Naturally. I sent a request for aids ages ago. I would have fixed things by now, but the repair factotums keep attacking me. They see anyone who enters as an intruder.
I could protect you while you make repairs.
Truly? Why, that's most excellent. Now, The very fate of Clockwork City's clean water supply rests in our hands, so we must act quickly. I know the locations of the machines in need of repairs, but we'll have to search around for specific parts.
Let's get to it.
Based on the schematics, I believe the vapor manifold and distillation initiator both need repairs. Easy enough for one of my talents. We just need a ventilation gear and a cleansing crystal. They should be fairly straightforward to find.
Why do we need to collect a ventilation gear?
These gears help run the vapor manifold, the central control for the humidifying processes of the halls of regulation. It seems that the malfunction is causing them to spin far too rapidly, grinding them down to an unusable state.
So this gear will be ruined eventually.
Of course not. I'll make the necessary repairs first and then replace the gear. It should go as smoothly as a piston in a reciprocating pneumatic cylinder.
And what about the cleansing crystal?
It's the main source of arcane energy for the distillation initiator. The filtration system can only decontaminate the water so much. This ensures that water is safe for human consumption, a vitally important part of the distillation process.
Does that mean the water isn't being properly filtered now?
The currently placed cleansing crystal is still active, but I don't believe that will be the case for very long, which means we should make the necessary repairs post-haste. Carefully. Repair factotums are crawling all over this place, and they're determined to defend these halls. Just what the distillation initiator needs. I'm glad we could find one in such good condition. wasn't there, I was worried that the factotums had whisked them all away. What a lucky find. Make the necessary repairs. I should be done in but a moment. It is blasted! I mean, no worries. I meant to do that. Just need to replace the crystal without causing irreversible damage. No problem. It worked? I mean, of course it worked. I knew what I was doing the entire time. We have but one more task ahead. The geotic dynamo that fuels the galvanic engine needs to be replaced. However, it's located in the regulation chamber, which is protected by a guardian factotum. You'll have to fend it off if I'm to make repairs.
The Clockwork Apostles didn't show you how to command the Guardian.
What? What a silly question. It's malfunctioning, of course. Just like the repair factotums. The Apostles didn't even know there were issues when they sent me here for routine maintenance. Obviously, they weren't aware of the malfunctions.
But what if we have to destroy it?
Oh, I'm certain you'll have to. But trust me when I say that factotum is doing more harm than good. If we let it be, then it will just destroy all the repairs I've set into place. I'm sure of it. Not that I think we'll be given a choice.
If you are certain.
I'm very certain. If we don't fix the galvanic engine, then there's a strong possibility that the entire system will shut down. This is the most crucial repair yet. Please, you've trusted me this far. Just one more fix and we'll be in the clear. certainly looks like the galvanic engine that I'm going to fix now. Right now. Here I go. This goes here, and then, of course, this goes over here, and if I just put this here, it's fixed. It's fixed! Yes! My plan worked. The Clockwork Apostles will have to accept me now. Can't believe we were actually able to do it. The halls of regulation are up and running again. Our repairs won't hold forever, but I should be able to maintain function in the meanwhile. I don't think it's too much to say that I'm truly a genius.
What was the plan you mentioned?
There's absolutely no need to concern yourself about that. I assure you, all that matters is that the Brass Fortress will have water tonight because of us. Am I right? Here, you've been such a great help. You should be properly rewarded. Isn't there some other adventure you should be off to?
I think I have a right to know what you were really up to.
Oh, Tilly, why did you have to open your stupid mouth? Look, I was honest about the halls of regulation needing repair, and every danger I outlined was of immediate concern. However, I may have embellished my connections with the Apostles.
Embellished? In what way?
Well, I suppose that I had a connection at all. When I arrived in Clockwork, I was immediately drawn to the Apostles. I knew they could help me strengthen not only my magic, but also my technical skills, which are already quite impressive.
But they didn't let you join.
Exactly so. It seems dark elf blood runs a little deeper here than they'd like to admit. I was an outsider, and compared to many here, my magic is still weak at best. I'm sure my round ears also didn't help make an impression. But I was determined.
So you came here, to the halls of regulations, to prove yourself.
I found the schematics in a public depository, and decided to research the mechanics in order to build upon my technical proficiency. Perhaps even make some improvements. I thought it might give me the edge I needed to join the Apostles.
Why didn't you just tell me that? Why lie?
I really am sorry about that. I panicked when you showed up and thought you might inform the Apostles. I wanted at least a chance to make repairs. And it all worked out in the end. Clockwork City still has water, and I have my edge.
Are you sure you can maintain this place?
Positive. I have a far better understanding of the mechanics now, and within a few weeks, I'll have a permanent repair. That's when I'll report my success to the Apostles. Thank you for helping me accomplish this. It truly means the world to me.
Dolz's log. I have many regrets, but none quite so strong as my decision to take our clan's ancestral sword on my journey. Knowing that it will never again wielded by a Morkul's hand fills me with more sorrow than my own inevitable death. Well, there's nothing to do now but survive, for escaping this cursed world of metal seems impossible. What a tusking fool I was. Traveling to Craglon seemed so easy compared to some of my past jobs. Sure, I knew it was a land of strange and powerful magic, but when did that ever scare me off? So long as the gold was good and to deal legit. The storm that swept me into this strange wasteland was unlike any I've seen before. The lightning flashed in strange colors, the rain poured hot against my skin. I heard chanting all around me, the language chilling and strange. Those words will haunt me till my dying day.
another drink like I need a head in the hole.
You there! A moment?
Welcome to Rivenspire, land of women and more.
Too old, my tusk. I'll show him too old.
Well met, traveler. What brings you out to Fell's Run?
I'm looking for a descendant of Dulza Gra Morkul.
You know about Aunt Dulza? How? She's been missing for over 20 years now, ever since she set out to Craglorn to deliver a shipment.
I found the journal next to her corpse. I'm sorry to say she died.
Steel and stone. We all suspected it, of course. Aunt Dulza was stubborn as a pack mule when it came to deliveries. When she never arrived in Dragonstar. Still, can't help but hold on to hope sometimes.
I found your clan sword as well.
What? You managed to recover the Gro Morkul clan's ancestral sword? Let me see that. By Moloch's jawbone, it is the sword! Returned after all this time. Another reason we knew Aunt Dulza was dead. She'd never let that sword be lost.
Dulza wanted it to be returned to your clan.
This means more than you know. The Gro Morkul clan had all but given up finding this sword again. Now we can finally return to Orsinium with our heads high. Thank you. Your actions deserve a greater reward than this, but it's been a slow year.
How dare you, Khaled? Your mother wanted a better future for you.
Because a factotum with delusions of grandeur told her fortune. Do you really believe that?
She believed it. Why can't you see?
See what? That following the predictions of a deluded machine got my mother killed? I'll prove the prognosticator is a fraud. See if I don't.
That display of emotion isn't indicative of the people of Slagtown. Kamid lost his mother in the last pilgrimage, and that's made him angry at the world. He has a point, though. Dreams and prophecies can be dangerous things.
What pilgrimage do you mean?
Once every season, the most brave and desperate members of our community make the journey to request a fortune from the Grand Prognosticator. Not everyone receives a prediction, but many have died hoping to have their destinies changed.
What's the Grand Procrastinator?
An oracle of sorts. It's an unusual factotum with a penchant for the mystical and the dramatic. I fear Kamid plans to do something foolish and dangerous. Perhaps you'd be willing to go to the Outlaw's Refuge and talk to him? Keep him safe?
I'll go to the Outlaw Refuge and talk to Kamid.
Thank you, my friend. My old bones aren't up to another adventure, but I owe it to Kamid's mother to do whatever I can to keep him safe. The Grand Prognosticator spits out fortunes the way a sawmill spits out lumber. All the same until one isn't.
The Grand Procrastinator gives everyone the same fortune?
More or less. Something about abject poverty and a miserable existence. But every once in a great while, the factotum provides a different prophecy. I received such a fortune when I made my pilgrimage so many years ago.
What fortune did you receive?
A fortune of hope, of riches beyond my wildest dreams. It spoke of a way to escape this life, but I wasn't brave enough to heed the prognosticator's words. Kamid calls the oracle a fraud. Maybe so, but even a cracked egg sometimes contains a scrib.
friend. The court requires your services.
Go find another beggar to bother. I've got more important things to do than carry some apostle's hopeful sack of dirty laundry.
Bulbaton sent me to help you.
Palbaton's an old fool and a coward. He knows that the prognosticator provides nothing but false hope and dangerous dreams to our people. That's what got my mother killed. I swore I'd never let another person get caught up in its games.
So what do you plan to do about it?
Prove that the prognosticator is a liar and a fraud. It tells them over and over again how terrible life is, and then once every generation it provides an actual fortune to keep them coming back. So I'm going to the Vale of Tears to destroy it.
The Vale of Tears is dangerous. Let me help you.
You want to help? I won't refuse, though I don't have anything to give you, if that's what you're after. The Vale of Tears lies to the southwest. If you really want to help, meet me there.
Tell me about the Grand Procrastinator's predictions.
I've never gone on a pilgrimage, but I've heard tales. The poor and weak will continue to be poor and weak. We'll live a miserable existence and then die from hunger or sickness. Cheerful, right? Makes you wonder why we keep asking the question.
So, why do your people keep coming back to the Procrastinator?
Because every once in a great while it actually spits out a different prediction. Something about finding a lost treasure and attaining enough wealth to change the course of your destiny. Or something close enough to that to get everyone excited.
You don't believe people can change their destiny?
Of course I believe that. Why else would I want to prove the prognosticator wrong? I want to show everyone that we can make our own futures. We can shape our own destinies, despite what some malfunctioning factotum has to say.
Want to help Slagtown become a little more enchanting?
Capable combatants needed for hazardous work. Please respond for more information.
By Tawaka's breath, you will talk to me! Say something, damn it! The prognosticator refuses to talk to me. I request a fortune and receive only silence. Is that what my mother died for?
Fortune? I thought you wanted to destroy the Grand Prognosticator.
I will destroy the false prophet, but not by taking a hammer to its shell. Instead, I'll show my people that it isn't infallible. I'll destroy it by proving that the predictions it makes are blatant lies. To do this, we have to activate the machine.
How do we activate the Grand Prognosticator?
As part of every pilgrimage, the faithful have to descend into the Vale of Tears and secure a working animo core from one of the factotums that roam the area. Head down there and see if any of them have a working power source.
And what are you going to be doing while I take that kind of risk?
I'll figure out how to turn the factotum on and get it to make a prediction. Look, I can't go down there. My mother's body... if I found it, I'd lose the resolve to finish this. And I have to finish this. I hope you understand.
All right, I'll find the working anima core.
Be careful in the Vale. It's dangerous down there.
Initiating security protocols.
Magus command you. Such a simple phrase yet, so full of power. I finally acquired the passphrase to unlock the secret of the obsolete analysis factotums. The sacred text of Sofa Seal Honored Assistant was instrumental in my discovery. I wonder what the mechanical creature will tell me when I finally locate and speak its phrase. My hope is that it will provide me with the means to finally make a better life for me and my son. Hello. Magus commands you.
Reflecting. Reflecting. Memory engaged. Gathering data. The Brass Fortress. Beginning evaluation and analysis. By Set's will, please state your query.
What data do you gather?
We count the number of people residing within the Brass Fortress, tracking births, deaths, illnesses, relative wealth, and poverty, all with the purpose of evaluating and predicting social trends and growth within Lord Set's creation.
So you use the data to tell fortunes?
Intriguing query. That is one interpretation of our analytical capability. The ongoing purpose of collecting and analyzing such information is to provide Sofa Seal with the data he needs to improve the lives of his subjects.
And when was the last time Sofa Seal made such improvements?
Query. Reflecting. Reflecting. That information is currently unavailable. Please return to the Brass Fortress and seek out a Clockwork Apostle for further assistance in this matter.
Can you tell me my fortune?
Beginning analysis to chart possible outcomes. No relevant data in memory vaults. Error. Error. No pronouncements can be furnished without statistics to analyze. Please present yourself to a Clockwork Apostle for immediate data collection.
What are you exactly?
Dreaming. Squib jelly. A rainy day. I am a first-generation analysis model factotum, specializing in gathering and analyzing data for and about the citizens of the Brass Fortress. My gears continue to spin true.
Goodbye.
you able to find an animo core? I see you've brought back an animo core. It works, I assume. Good job. While you were gone, I figured out where to install the core. There's a cavity in the machine that looks to be about the right size. I think it goes in there.
What happens after we install the animo core?
I'm not sure. I never went on a pilgrimage, so I've never seen the Grand Prognosticator in operation. My mother told me a few stories. She was always vague about the Oracle. Speaking of my mother, did you find anything else down there?
Your mother's name was Malia?
How did you know? Oh, you found her. I didn't want to imagine what happened to her, but after seeing what you went through down there... Wait, how did you learn my mother's name if you just found her body?
I found her journal. You should have it.
Let me see that. A passphrase. My mother never mentioned anything about a passphrase. I wonder what she hoped to learn by talking to an obsolete factotum. I remember something about a sacred text, though. I'll ask Palbatan about it later.
I'll place the animo core in the machine.
Initializing. Reflecting. Reflecting. Memory engaged. By the will of Set, please state your query.
It worked! Prognosticator, tell me what the Fates have in store for Comet of Slagtown.
Reflecting. Charting possible outcomes. Comet of Slagtown. Minimum income. Inferior quality of life.
Great, you know all about me. But what does it mean? What's my future, you stupid construct?
Query. Reflecting. Prognostication unsatisfactory. Poor quality of life will lead to sickness, starvation, depression, and ultimately, death.
Perfectly dire. Just what I expected. And what about my friend here?
Reflecting. Reflecting. No relevant data in memory vaults. Error occurred. Please present yourself for immediate data collection.
Interesting. The prognosticator doesn't have a prophecy for you. More proof that it uses what it knows to make calculated guesses. But it predicted doom and gloom for me. Now I can change my future and show everyone that our fate isn't fixed.
How do you plan to change your fate?
Interesting. By doing the impossible. I'll find the lost treasure of the Radius. In the past, the pilgrimage included both a visit to the prognosticator and a search for the treasure. That changed after a lot of people died during an unsuccessful hunt.
How are you going to find something that has eluded your people for generations?
Palbatan survived that doomed hunt. I'll get him to tell me exactly what happened. Then, I can retrace their steps, avoid their mistakes, and find enough wealth to change my fortune. Let's go find the old man in the Brass Fortress.
Are you sure about this, Comet? Remember what happened to your mother?
With the Outsider's help, that treasure is as good as mine. Then everyone will see that the prognosticator is a fraud!
When I asked you to help Comet, this wasn't exactly what I had in mind. I want to see our people abandon the reckless pilgrimage to the Grand Prognosticator. But going after the treasure is just as dangerous, maybe even more so.
Can you tell us anything about the lost treasure?
Comet seeks to replace one foolish pilgrimage with another. Very well. I can tell you that the treasure exists. I've seen the wreckage of the merchant caravan myself. But getting close enough to recover it? Impossible.
Why do you say it's impossible to reach the treasure?
Because of the massive fabricate that prowls the area. Gear Grinder is bigger than 3 brawny Nords and 100 times more dangerous. It slaughtered the pilgrims that attempted to recover the treasure. I was the only survivor. I'm still uncomfortable with all this, but I can see that you and Comet are determined. The wreckage lies scattered far to the south, near the mountains that form the southern border of the Radius. Gear Grinder is a killer. Please, keep Kamid safe.
Thank you. I won't let anything happen to Kamid.
Before you go, Kamid mentioned you found Malia's journal. He said it contained a passphrase and mentioned Sotha Seal's honored assistant. Is that true?
That's correct. Can you tell us anything about that?
I'm sorry to say that when I was a young man, I came across a sequence plaque that belonged to one of Sotha Seal's original assistants, an apostle called Albacron. The plaque contained a series of passphrases. That's how I found the lost treasure.
How did some old passphrases lead you to the treasure?
They allowed me to change the nature of my pilgrimage. I was able to get the prognosticator to tell me how to locate the lost treasure of the Radius, thus altering my future. Or so I hoped. But the Fabricant. Maybe our fates are set after all.
Why did you give the passphrase to Kamid's mother, if you feel that way?
I'm not sure how I feel. Not anymore. But I didn't give Malia the passphrase. She must have found the plaque where I hid it. Maybe if she hadn't... When you return from the wreckage, if you return, I'll tell you more about the passphrases.
Goodbye.
Well?
Creature. It's even worse than Palbatin told us. Look, I appreciate all the help, but I don't want to see you die on my behalf. Are you sure you can deal with that beast?
I can take care of the Gear Grinder, but what will you be doing?
I'm no warrior, you know that. Without you, we wouldn't have gotten this far. I'll stay out of the way, so don't worry about me. Just be safe out there and try not to die.
All right, I'll handle this. Wait here.
You did it! Thanks to you, we found the lost treasure. This proves the prognosticator isn't an oracle. It's just a machine. And not a very good one at that. Now I can show the people of Slagtown that we're not prisoners to destiny.
This is the treasure you wanted?
Yes, my friend. Spices. Wonderful, delicious spices. That's the most valuable treasure of all, when your diet consists of nothing but flavorless paste. This will not only improve our lives, it will show my people that our fate is not set in stone.
You make it sound like those spices are worth your weight in gold.
More than that! Spices are as rare as a blade of grass in a city of metal. Wealthy mages and apostles will pay dearly for such a tempting treat. But I need to be cautious. Others will try to steal this treasure. I need to hide it to keep it safe.
How can I help?
Return to Slagtown and meet me there. Then we can show my people how we changed the outcome of the prognosticator's prediction and improved my destiny. I just wish my mother had lived to see this day.
Goodbye.
I've called a few people together so I can tell them what we've done. Hopefully, word will then spread throughout Slagtown and all of the Brass Fortress. Palbatin and I talked about my mother. We don't think she saw the prediction from the Oracle.
Then what was your mother doing out there?
We think she was out there trying to do the same thing as me. She was trying to figure out how the prognosticator works so she could get it to change our fortunes. Palbatin believes she acquired the passphrase from the sequence plaque he hid away.
So she found Palpatine's hiding place.
That's our best guess. She was trying to help us. All of us. I just wish she had told me. That she hadn't tried to do it on her own. Well, thanks to you, I succeeded where she failed. Now we just have to convince the rest of Slagtown.
You can do it, just tell them the truth about the procrastinator and speak from the heart.
Heart. That's not something you hear a lot about in a place that runs on gears and cogs. Here, this is your share of the treasure. You earned it. Oh, and Palbatin wants you to meet him in the Outlaw's Refuge afterward. He has something for you, too. People of Slagtown, I bring you a revelation. The prognosticator lies, but we can change our fortunes. We have free will.
Comet, the apostles say there's no such thing as free will.
What you're implying is heresy, Comet.
Is it heresy to speak the truth? I performed the pilgrimage. I received the usual grim fortune that predicted I'd be poor until I died. But that future is a false future. I refused to accept that fate, and I changed it. And if I can do it, so can you.
Oh, really? You look just as destitute as you did yesterday, Comet. Maybe even more so.
I found the lost treasure of the Radius. I made a deal to sell some of the spices, and this is the contract. I'm rich!
So we can change our fate? The future isn't a set sequence?
We have to tell everyone. Comet changed the future. The prognosticator was wrong.
Sorry for the clandestine request, but I have words meant for your ears only. What you and Comet learned, what he convinced Slagtown about the Grand Prognosticator, well, it's not entirely accurate.
Are you saying that the procrastinator doesn't use data to predict future trends?
No, you figured out how the prognosticator makes its predictions, but the factotum has a defect, a sequencing error, as it were. You see, it can also actually prophesy the future.
Didn't we just work really hard to convince Slagtown that it can't do that?
The pilgrimage needed to be discredited. People were going out into the Vale and getting killed for no good reason. But just because the message has been corrupted doesn't mean the messenger wasn't worth listening to.
Then why did the procrastinator keep giving everyone the same dire fortune?
Because the people of Slagtown never had the right passphrase. Malia jotted the one for the analyst in her journal, but she made no mention of the one for the prognosticator. I had it, though. That's why my fortune was different.
I think the procrastinator mentioned a passphrase when I tried to talk to it.
Then it's even more imperative that I give you the plaque. The prognosticator must have a prophecy to reveal, but it won't speak unless you provide the proper passphrase. Take the honored assistant's plaque and learn the fate that awaits you.
Ah, here it is. Prime sequence 11, 13, 17.
By the word of Set, I am bound. No pronouncements can be furnished without proper statistics to analyze. Please provide the appropriate passphrase or present yourself to a Clockwork Apostle for immediate data collection.
Prime sequence 11, 13, 17.
Initializing. Reflecting. Reflecting. Unauthorized prophetic element engaged. Analyzing proximate subject. Determining wealth and social status. Permission to continue.
Permission granted.
Wealth and social status analysis complete. Indicates a poverty level income and the social status of a slave or indentured servant. Reflecting. Health and wellness analyzer engaged. Permission to continue?
Permission granted.
Health and wellness analysis complete. Indicates an exceptional constitution and the stamina of a warrior or adventurer. Unfortunate. Such individuals lead exceptionally brief lives. Hold. Disengaging prophetic inhibitor. Prophecy imminent.
Prophecy? About me?
Dreaming. 1 niche. 2 niche. Prophecy complete. I see an island. A tower. 3 princes. Darkness spreading across the land. I see a golden knight and an unexpected sacrifice. I see an end.
That doesn't sound good.
Everything must perish. That is the way of all reality. But the end that I see, you can alter the outcome. The variables indicate a minuscule percentage point in your favor.
So there is a way to change the future.
A chance. Lord Set and the 3 willing. Reflecting. Reflecting. Probabilities calculated. Odds generated. Demise certainty. 99.99%. And Somerset is the sequence of the words.
Goodbye.